Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Modern Day Spiritualist. I am your conversation leader, Zokai, the modern day priestess. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about when those gifts start to awaken with my goddaughter, Adrienne. Adrienne, welcome
Hey,
to the show.
hey.
So, first, let's learn a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Okay. So currently, right now, I am a quality analyst for a finance company. A little bit before that, I worked in accounts receivable, and a few years before that, I worked in healthcare.
Okay. And then how long have you been consciously on your spiritual journey?
God, probably since 2019. Yes,
2019.
2019.
Okay. How did that start for you? What did that look like?
So, growing up in the church, right, you're taught certain things about religion.
Mhm.
But as I got older, I started questioning those teachings, right? Um, and during that time, my company was outsourcing our job, and I just kind of felt like if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, how come this is happening?
Mhm.
um, so that's actually when I reached out to you.
Oh, yes. I forgot
And
about
that's how we started. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, we started this journey of you getting readings and that type of thing,
Hmm.
a little bit of coaching and advising because I can't help myself, right?
A lot of coaching.
When would you say you first noticed your gifts awakening?
Ooh. Honestly, I would have to say like immediately after working with you.
Oh, okay.
Um, so again, growing up in a Christian household, you're taught that certain things are of the devil. So as a kid, I've always been in tune with spirits,
Mhm.
but we're told you have an active imagination and things of that such. So as I got older, I just kind of learned how to shut that side of me out. And then as soon as I started working with you, it was like, hey,
I have to add gift activator to my
yes, you
resume.
do.
So what did that feel like? Tell us, like, what was that like for you? Because I know when I first started noticing some of my spiritual gifts, it wasn't scary at first because I was a kid and I just thought it was normal, like talking to dead people is normal, right? But I know that that's not, the norm for
Everybody's,
other
yeah.
people. Yeah. What was it like for you?
So initially, as a kid, I'm not going to lie, it was scary because I couldn't hear them, I can just see them.
Mhm.
And being that we didn't live too far from a cemetery, I saw all kind of spirits.
Mm.
Um, and then as I got older, like maybe my teen years, it was just like breathing. I would
Mhm.
see something, I'd be like, did y'all see that? And everybody be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, listen. And keep going. Like,
Right, right.
um, when I got older as an adult, that's like I said, that's when I kind of started ignoring. So I would see certain things and just be like, I'm tripping and go on. But then when it awakened and they came back like, hey, we missed you.
Where you been, girl?
Right. Then that it wasn't scary. It was kind of like, so this is what I was supposed to be doing this whole time. Now, with that being said, I haven't learned the boundaries yet. So sometimes they come when I don't want them to.
Yeah. And that comes with time, learning boundaries, learning how to deal with certain um, energies and entities. That's
Yes.
just something that comes with practice and really understanding yourself, because how you interact with them will be totally different than, say, how I interact.
Right.
Because now I'm at a point where I'm like, y'all get the fuck out of here. I'm trying to go to bed. I don't want to hear nothing nobody talking about. Shop is closed, right? But for somebody else, you might be, "Oh, hey, what do you need? Oh, I'm not sure if we could talk right now." You know, so it just
Yes.
comes with time and knowing, discerning what energy is what. I would never talk to my
Yes.
ancestors like that, but I would definitely be very firm in telling them, "I'm going to bed and I'm gonna talk to y'all tomorrow." So that's another thing. But I want to go back just a little bit because you mentioned something that I felt like was key.
Okay.
You said that you guys lived close to a cemetery.
Yes.
And that is one thing that I think that we don't always pay attention to, which is location when it comes
Yes.
to anything spiritual. Location plays a big
Absolutely.
key. People who live
Absolutely.
next to cemeteries or close to hospitals, what you have to know is those are very active portals. People are coming in and out of this dimension, right? Some
Yes.
people are stuck and they're hanging around and they're waiting to see I call it the light. So the light is like people who have these gifts to interact with spirits, mediums. We have a light that goes on that they see, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're in like Grand Central Station of spirit activity going on, they're like, "Oh, here comes another train. Let me try to hop on."
Yes. I'm glad you said that because from the moment, like I told you, I started working with you and it came up. I remember I used to just like see them outside my window and I'd be like, what the heck? Or they would just like pop in the house and I'd just be like, what y'all doing?
Like, "May I help you?"
Yeah, they'd wake me up out my sleep. And it's like, okay. But it's crazy because now I live next to a cemetery. So,
Mhm.
and a hospital.
Oh, so you got double action going on. Double action. And so one of the main functions that I feel like people like us with this gift have is to help them get to where they need to be. Because 90% of the time they're not here for us. They just need a little guidance. And so it's like, hey, do you need to go to the light or do you need to, go someplace else? Either way, you can't stay up in here, right? So let's figure out what is it that you need. Um, and so with me having a tribe and having God kids, sometimes you all spirits will come to me and I'm like, okay, who are you here for? Because you can kind of feel when it's just a random and when it's like really, you know,
Yes.
somebody that you need to kind of
Yes.
pay attention to and help out in that way. Now, you said you used to see when you were
Oh,
um,
yeah.
younger.
Oh,
What were
God.
some of your other gifts?
Dreams.
Mhm.
Um, Even to this day, I can see things before it happens, or um, probably more frequently that I will have someone like come into my dream and my physical presence is around. And while they're trying to communicate and tell me certain things, it's images and feelings and smells that I pick up on. So then when I wake up, I can be like, oh, okay, this is what my dream was.
Okay. So dreams and being able to
Yes.
see spirits. What else?
Yes. Um, I would say I haven't fully developed this as of yet, but I can hear when they're around, but it's very muffled and
Mhm.
I don't understand exactly what they're saying. You remember when way back when we had cordless phones and it would like pick up someone else's conversation?
Mhm.
It's what it sounds like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I know that some
Sorry about
people,
that.
it's okay. Some people will never be able to hear them because that's just not the way that they pick up the energy. Some
Hmm.
people just see, some people just feel, and then some people just have um, thoughts that you know is not yours, that you know is being, I guess
Yeah.
telepathically communicated to you, I guess is the right word. So well, I audibly hear. So it's
Yes, I know.
literally like somebody standing next to me, blah, blah, blahing in my ear. And so I know people are like, oh, I wish I could hear. I wish I could hear.
You
But
don't want that.
sometimes,
You don't.
you don't want to be out in public looking absolutely nutty, you know? So
So
that's,
luckily, I have not had that experience in public. It's more so, obviously, around the house.
hmm
Um, it would be like I could hear a conversation, and I'm looking around like there's nobody in the room but me. So who's talking? But it's muffled, like it's in the other room, and that's about it.
tell us about an encounter that you will never forget.
Oh God, have few. Um, so right when I started working with you, I remember I was woken up out my sleep, and I seen like this soldier, maybe from like, uh, so I'm in the South, so I guess when they had their war,
hmm
and I remember him just like literally walking past me, looking at me as if I was in the wrong, walking past my living room, and I was just like, "Can I help you?" And he disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
There's another one. This was my spirit. They gave me a gift. I was laying on the bed, sleep. I think I told you this one.
hmm
And they gave me a basket, and it was like a little girl. She gave me a basket, and I was like, "Oh." It's probably when I started hearing stuff.
hmm I think so, if I recall correctly.
And there's one that sticks in my head of the eye looking at me. I'll
Mhm.
never forget that one.
I don't remember that one, that eye looking at you.
Yeah, remember I told you, I always have when I'm downstairs. I was downstairs asleep, and when I looked out my window, it was like a fence up, but I could see an eye just looking at me and staring at me.
Mm.
And the more I tried to focus, the blurrier it got, and eventually it just went away.
So, why why do you think now is the time that they've chosen to reawaken your gifts?
Um, I think it just honestly just like where I was in my life, and you can't run from your gifts. Whatever you're destined to be, you can't run from it. So I think for me being, or hiding and running and shutting down my gift, they're like, no, 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 ma'am. Mm-mm. You
Mhm.
had your time. Now this is it.
So, why do you think you have them? Especially the particular ones that you have.
I don't know.
So, that's
Like
something we're gonna have to develop.
I
What is the
felt
purpose of your gift?
so I've always felt like I was supposed to help people. And at one point, I always thought it was like through the medical field, but I don't think that's necessarily how I was supposed to help people. So I do believe is that I just don't know why I have this particular gift.
Okay.
I would like to say it has something to do with my grandmother, but I don't know.
So, what about your grandmother makes that connection for you?
My grandmother always seemed, when I was younger anyway, um, seemed to kind of know how to put things back together. I remember as a child, she would always sit in the living room watching the street. That's where her seat was. And she would be humming hymns and singing songs. And to me, I just thought my grandma was just singing,
Mhm.
but I don't think it was just singing. I
Yeah.
think um, that might have been her work as far as making sure the family was okay and all of that. My grandmother's, like, I remember when I had a dream of my grandfather passing before he passed. My grandmother knew about my dream before I even told her about my dream.
Mhm.
And as I recall back now, like, there were certain things that she asked me about my dream at the time that I didn't understand. But my grandmother, she was in my dream and she already knew.
That's deep and
Yes.
beautiful,
Yes.
to know that somebody else has that type of connection with you
Yep.
and with your gifts. Does anybody else in your family have gifts? I know that your
My
children are
kids.
gifted.
My
Mhm.
kids. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else. If they are, maybe they haven't tapped into it.
Okay, yeah.
We grew up in a Christian household, so certain things we just didn't do.
Yeah, and that's so funny because, as most of you all know, I grew up in a Christian household, and when I think back watching my grandmothers, even still today, watching my one grandmother who's still alive, there are so many things that they did that now I know, like, these are gifts, and you was doing straight up hoodoo, okay? And they don't look at it
Yes.
that way because it's just things that were passed down, or they understand. Like, I think my grandmother, who is alive now, I think she understands, like, exactly what it is and the stigmatism that it has. So she doesn't really speak on it in that way. It's just certain things we would do every Saturday or Sunday, like mopping the floors
Yes.
with
The
ammonia,
mirrors, the
or,
mirrors. Oh my God.
yeah, and they had these different gifts and talents, and
Yes.
we just thought, "Oh, this was just grandmother's way." Like, my grandmother knows
Yes.
every time somebody's pregnant, she'll have her fish dream, and it's always extremely accurate. And, to everyday people, it's like, "Okay, that's just some old Southern stuff," but
Yes.
that is a gift because she'll be like, "Okay, who is the fish?" But she always know exactly who it is.
It's crazy you say that because I remember, like, I would have a dream, and in my dream it was me that was pregnant, but my spiritual self is like, nah, that ain't us. Like, who's pregnant? It ain't me. And I remember in my dream telling people it's not me that's pregnant. It's not me that's pregnant. And I'll wait it out, and somebody be like, I'm pregnant.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
So what's different in your life now that you are activated?
I don't sleep.
Okay.
I don't sleep. I'm more conscious of energies. Um, yeah, I'm very conscious of energies. Like, prime example, last time I saw you, there was a very strong presence.
Okay, let's give some context. I was going through a huge initiation. I was getting crowned in Orisha. Okay. Let's say that first. And my folks like, oh yeah, she got shit going on up in her house.
No, it's not. Yeah, I'm big on energies. I could tell. I don't know. It's just like you can sense it. Kind of like how people will feel like something's not right, something's wrong, or they just get that eerie feeling. It's not really eerie feeling for me, but I could sense. Or I get bruises, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Mhm.
But that's probably one of the biggest things, the sleep, because I'm up like in my sleep. I guess I travel might be the best way to say that. So I
So
never sleep.
that's also a gift.
Oh, well, then I travel.
Astro traveling is, yeah, one of those gifts that when it turns on, baby, it turns on.
Baby. That's why I don't sleep. Like, I can sleep, but I don't get rest because I'm consciously doing things.
Right. Yeah.
Um, So that and like energy and yeah, that's big for me.
How do you use this in your day-to-day life? Like, how are you starting to implement it now for your benefit?
Ooh. Um, when I get that feeling of something's not right, I try to pay attention to my surrounding and see what it is.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes I can't avoid being around certain people, so
Mhm.
um, I have to take precautions. Um, More than likely, it's the Florida water behind the neck or the towel. Um, and if it's a little bit stronger, I have to do a step to the side and do a one-on-one ceremony. Um, but like at work, when I can sense that something's not right, I pay attention to my surroundings. Unfortunately, at work you can't just up and leave and be like I'm out.
Right.
So at that time, I put the Florida rounder on me, or if I didn't already put protection oil, I'll do that. I'll kind of go somewhere quiet, say a quick little prayer, and kind of go from there.
So for you, it's a means of warning,
Yes,
and so you're
definitely.
prepared for what's coming and you can be alert.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it don't really give me that warning or enough warning,
Uh-huh.
but you just kind of got to deal with it at that point.
So, what advice would you give somebody who's just like starting to have their gifts become activated?
It's going to sound cliche, but definitely trust the process.
Mhm.
Um, if you,
Tell me what that means first. Trust the process. Because we hear that
okay,
a lot. What that mean?
yeah. So for myself, right in the beginning, there was a lot of different things that I did not understand. I would smell certain things, I would hear certain things, and trying to figure out what all your gifts are at one time, that's never the best route to go.
Mhm.
Um, but it was me sitting at my altar, me talking to my ancestors, getting to know them, and understanding why I would smell certain things, or I would hear certain sounds, or I would see something that may not have been an actual, that wasn't happening at that moment. Um, so when I say trust the process, that's what I mean. If you're communicating with your ancestors, you're spending that time, it's not going to hit you right away, but you're definitely going to understand. That's what I mean when I say trust the process.
Okay. Got you.
Um, don't rush it. Again, coming in as a newbie, you're excited. You have all these different things that's going on, and you want to figure out everything. Take your time. Do it at your own pace.
Mhm.
I got tired of hearing that, and I still get tired of hearing it, but it is at your own pace. When it's meant for you to tap open that new gift or get a better understanding or even a download of what it is, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. Don't rush it, because when you try to rush it,
Mhm.
that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, for real. That's good. That's great advice, actually, especially with us trying to implement these ancient techniques and sciences and
Yes.
traditions into, our modern day life, which brings me to our final question for you today, Adrienne. What does it mean to be a modern day spiritualist to you?
Ooh, I would say for me, it's living in my truth and knowing who I am. With everything that goes on today, everybody is claiming to be a spiritualist,
Mhm.
the best way to put that. So, they're going to give you the quick little gimmicks and this works and try. You have to be honest and loyal to yourself and know where you came from or what your ancestors did, your family. You have to know that. So it's, to me, it's just being true to yourself. If you know that you have these gifts, like practice, focus on that, learn about your gifts. Because like I said, in today's society, anybody could be like, all you gotta do is sprinkle some salt and you'll be, no. They're not telling you what happens behind it when you're not doing what's right, or you're doing it with the wrong intentions.
Correct. Yeah. That was good. I love that. So, thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. It was
Yeah, that
very,
was fun.
very interesting. Um, one of the key things that I think most of the listeners is going to get out of this is you kept mentioning about when you started working with me. So, I want to give everybody the opportunity to work with me on a
Yes,
mentorship level. Visit the website under work with
absolutely.
me, and you'll see mentorship. Now you'll see levels 1 and 2, but level 1 is now an online class that gives you the basics and give you a solid foundation, and then you can move on to level 2, where we really work with developing those
Yes,
gifts. Okay, so thank you again, Adrienne,
no
and
problem.
to all of the rest of my modern day spiritualists. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Okay, that was great.
That was fun. I like that. We got to do this again.
Okay, girl. Yay. Okay, you ready for your drop?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna say though.
Okay, think about it.
I'm trying to think. Or do I gotta say Zokai? Because you know I'll be quick to say Madrina.
Yeah, say okay.
um,
Well, let me know when you're ready so I can.
okay, I'm just trying to be honest. Um, what is it, Zokai? What's your email? I mean your website.
You don't have to say it. It's at the bottom of the screen, though. Zokai.co.
Um, okay, I think I know what I'm gonna say.
All right. In five, four, three, two.
Hey y'all, if y'all are going through something and you feel like you can't get through it, I suggest that you go ahead and hit up Zokai for a reading so she can get your life back on track.